Today we will be discussing attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. My name is Jared Gonzalez. What is a mental disorder? Mental health affects everything in our lives, from emotional attributes, physical attributes, and psychological attributes. Mental health is a factor that is underprioritized in day-to-day society. The scary thing about mental health is the denial of every being a victim of it. Not being able to visibly see the effects it takes on people because it's not physically affect. It's an internal problem that can only be noticed by the individual itself. Now, other people can notice these things, but in order to make a change, the person must really understand how it's affecting them every single day and how it really makes a difference. Mental illnesses are health conditions involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior. Mental illnesses are associated with distress, problems functioning in social society, work, or even family activities. That is quoted in What is Mental Illness? What is ADHD? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder is a condition that is characterized by absent-mindedness, hyperactivity, and spontaneousness. ADHD affects mostly the youth generation in education systems where it is noticed the most. There are millions of Americans with ADHD that are not diagnosed due to their negligence to symptoms they show. They walk around and they think that it's not going to bother them every day in their lives. Having a mental illness is not something that you gain through actions you've made in life. It is inherited through genetics and chemical imbalances. It's not your fault that you lose your keys all the time, or you forget that you went into the fridge to get the milk, and you say, "Why am I in this room?" I do that all the time. When looking at the demographic of ADHD, we mostly see it or the diagnosis in the teenage years. When you're in high school is mostly when people notice it the most. Your teachers see your disabilities in learning, and according to the CDC, 9.4% of U.S. children between the ages 2 and 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD, making it one of the most diagnosed neurodevelopmental conditions today. Most diagnoses happen in the teenage years because of the education system, and applying their critical thinking takes an effect when they can't focus, and that's one of the side effects and symptoms of ADHD. What the issue may look like for high school students with ADHD is very common among everyone. It's distractibility and lack of focus, disorganization and forgetfulness. They have hyperactivity and fidgeting most of the time, impulsivity and poor decision making because they're so high strung, poor concentration and trouble finishing tasks because if they can't finish something right now, then they just start something new. Personally, my brother has ADHD, and I believe that I have ADHD as well, and that is why my room can never stay clean. But how would we treat it? How do we go to help it, and where? Treating ADHD comes in two types of forms. It comes in medications, or it comes in behavior therapy. So a lot of people don't believe in medication because they're scared of all the side effects and what they're going to put their child through, giving them medicine every day and how they change their personality and who they are. But behavior therapy is an alternative that you can do that consists of parental training to understand how to respond to the symptoms, as well as peer interventions that focus of behavior attributes in each and every person, including the educators working with the individual, to put everyone surrounding the mental illness on the same page to develop a normal behavior over time. So you want to get everyone around the individual that's suffering from ADHD on the same page where if he's acting out, everyone knows how to react to it. Everyone knows how to help him and notice the behaviors when they happen so that you can correct them and tell them, hey, this is wrong and it needs to be fixed. Another form of treatment for ADHD would be medication. According to the CDC, stimulants are the best known and most widely used ADHD medications. Between 70 to 80% of children with ADHD have fever, ADHD symptoms, when taking these fast-acting medications. The most effective treatment for ADHD is the stimulants given through medications. Finding treatments for ADHD will be discovered through your doctor after you get diagnosed with them. The specific treatment you needed will be recommended by your doctor, and then you get the choice to decide. A lot of people are scared of what the medications will do as a side effects to their child, but the best and most effective fast-acting treatment is the medication. And being on Adderall or Vyvanse or any sort of stimulant that focuses a mind that is wondering constantly changes their life and their perspective on everything and gets them to be a productive person throughout their entire life. What to do as a peer advocate? Having awareness of this issue is the most important thing in dealing with the advocacy of a peer, in my opinion. And the second most important thing for me would be being a supportive advocate to one suffering from ADHD and being understanding of their situation. You have to be patient with them. You have to understand that their mind has an attention span of a squirrel and that you have to repeat yourself multiple times, or you have to get down to their level of learning and how they need a platform to learn off of, because you have to be flexible. You really do. Now, behaviors and approaches consist of the following: response inhibition, being able to stop an action when situations suddenly change. You got to be able to stop something when he wants to stop an activity and leave and say, no, you have to finish what you're doing. You have to finish out what you started. A working memory. You have to be able to have emotional control. You must have to be flexible. You have to be flexible in every context of a conversation, of your daily lives, of your plans and your schedules. You have to sustain attention, and you have to have task initiation and get somebody on board and say, hey, I'm giving you motivation and initiation to get this done, and you need to get it done. So focus and get them on the same page that you are. You have to have planning, prioritizing, and organization with somebody that is suffering from this mental illness. You have to be organized. If you're not organized with someone, then they're going to be all over the place more than you are. Time management is also key because most people suffering from ADHD are always late. They always have missing assignments or suffer from being able to recall a lot of things. Going back to what I stated about being supportive from one suffering from ADHD is very important for the individual and their morale. You have to make them believe that it's okay and that the medication or the behavioral therapy is something that is needed to be done to make you a better person, to make you better in life, to live a better life. And getting people to be on that same page and have awareness of this mental illness to help people throughout the world and maybe one day come up with a cure for individuals that suffer from this disorder. Here's my works cited page on everything that I have gotten and learned and researched from and cited in my presentation. I thank you for listening to my Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD. My name is Jared Gonzalez, and have a great day.